test ride on the smoker. We're gonna see how she works. Uh-oh, motocross suspension. I love you. Man, this thing is nimble. Oh man, I miss riding smokers so much. Freaking believable. Man, two strokes are where it's at. Oh my gosh. Alright guys, I'm down here on the beach in Hawaii, and I hope you can hear me. It's kind of wavy and maybe a little bit of windy in the cell phone, but I'm going to give you a walk around the 250. She's all done. I wanted to do a walk around before it got too dirty. I need to get a couple of rides on it. I'm going to do a race in the mainland, and I'm going to be riding a 250 smoker. And yeah, I'm super stoked. I hope you guys like it. So we got a little bit of backlight, but I'm thinking that you guys can probably appreciate the scenery. So stopped here, plus I had a tree to lean it against because motocross bikes don't have kickstands. So yeah, it's a 2009 250SX, and it's got a Rockstar kit on it. And there's a story behind that. If you guys watch my videos, you know that I have a little buddy named Elijah Reed, and he had to have his leg amputated. So, long story short, when I was doing the fundraiser for Elijah, Dean Wilson sent Elijah a jersey from the Supercross season and a sweatshirt, a Dean Wilson 15 sweatshirt. And I thought that that was just super fucking cool. You know, Dean Wilson don't know my little friend. You know, he's not anybody famous or anything like that. It was just something that Dean did, just, you know, because he's a cool dude. And so when I was building this bike, actually I bought this bike because I wanted one, and then basically I was just going to turn it all white like I usually do. But you know, not everybody thinks that that's cool like me. I mean, it's really vanilla. I get it. I'm kind of a purist. I like OEM parts. I just like a really clean, easy to maintain look, something that just looks clean all the time. I don't care that it's sparkly and a roach. I just want a nice, clean, super functional bike. So after Dean sent that stuff to Elijah, I was like, you know what? That's freaking cool. I think I'm gonna make this bike a Rockstar bike. I like white bikes. I'm a fan of Dean's. I really like Jason Anderson. I really like Graham Jarvis. I really like Zach Osborne. I think if I was gonna emulate a rider, I really like Zach Osborne's riding style. I don't know, maybe I need to watch more riders, but I think that that guy just, I don't know, he just looks good on a motorcycle. So all those guys ride for Rockstar Husqvarna. And I don't have a Husqvarna dealer here in Hawaii. Well, actually, I kind of technically do, but the dealer that I go through, Kaiser Motorcycles, is a KTM dealer. I used to work at a KTM dealer. I was a parts manager for 8 years, if you guys don't know that. And I always rode KTMs. I like KTMs. I really like Husqvarnas, but now that they're KTMs. But you know, I got a KTM dealer, so I like to support my local dealer. And so I had one of these available. Another one of my friends was hard up for money. He wasn't able to make his rent or something like that. I gave him top dollar for it, Blue Book. I'm into the bike, 2,800 bucks, which is a little bit too much for what it was. I don't mind paying up if it's something that I like. I rode, back in the early 2000s, I rode 250 SXs. It's essentially the same damn motor. It's PDS. I really like PDS because I don't like replacing bearings and stuff all the time. So it was a good fit. You guys know, if you watch the other videos, I've put about 1,200 into it, and that included the shock revalve. Sent it to my friend Dan at Evo Industries, evoind.com if you want to look up Dan. And I got the shock revalved. I put one of these X-Rig preload adjusters on it. Works super killer. You can easily adjust the sag. If I was riding real tight tracks, I could just make a couple turns and it would give it that I don't know, a little more stink bug stance, I guess, and make it turn a little bit better. But most of the time I'm going ripping up and down kind of high speed stuff out here, so I'm running it at 105 millimeters right now. Instantly, the second I got on this bike, I just felt at home. The first 40 seconds, you guys will hear my enthusiasm. I was in love. I had no idea what the tire pressures were in it. Nothing. It was 30 PSI in the front, 21 in the rear, I think, when I stopped. Handles freaking amazing. I was kind of before the ignition mapping stuff, so if you look on the handlebar here, this has a map switch, a very generic map switch, and it has high and low. I played around in the grass a little bit. If you're wondering what's on my wrist, it's a Mobius X8. Played with the map switch a little bit, and it has a decent amount more low-end power and just pull off the bottom when you put it in low. I like kind of riding it in high. It doesn't pull quite as well on the bottom, but it feels a little bit smoother. And then it has a little bit more on top. I also have the Sissy power valve spring in it, which was a good choice for me right now. It's the green spring, and that's the weakest spring. Don't quote me on this, but I think that those springs open up at like 8,100 RPMs, so it's not fully open until like 8,100 RPMs. Where I ride most of the time, that's probably going to be ideal. I may put the yellow one in there, but this bike has ungodly amounts of power for the kind of stuff that I ride for the most part. It weighs almost nothing. The power to weight ratio is quite high. I'm 150 pounds soaking wet on a bad day, and so my body weight's just going to keep dropping and dropping. It's got plenty of power. I don't have any ego, so I'm not worried about it. And it's got pretty good low-end power. It's got an FMF gnarly on it. If you look around here, I'm riding and stuff. These things kick off front tires and dent up pipes. I did not buy this pipe. I would have. It's got one dent right here below the radiator. No big deal. Engine runs great. Unbelievable, actually. So I just went through and cleaned everything up, did graphics. I mean, this thing came all apart. Everything got buffed. There's a lot of little details I did in this bike, like these titanium bolts that most people wouldn't notice. The triple clamps are titanium all the way through. Just a lot of cool stuff. I put a lighter shock spring on it as well. The stock shock spring was kind of ugly. I did actually paint that shock spring, the original one, white, but then I went with this lighter one. You can see Dan's logo. He's based out of Washington State. Still got the 18-inch tire on there, which is kind of nice because I will put fresh tires on this bike and then roll them off this bike onto my EXC. Down in the engine here, you can see the white silicone hoses. Just everything buffed out, cleaned out. All the chips from the Kickstarter. Looks like I got a little fresh nick here, but all the dings from the foot pegs and stuff, I ground out, smoothed all those out so it looks factory. Everything is mounted mint. I mean, everything is killer in this thing. Radiator cap, you know, all the little accents, black with brass. Got new cables, so it was all black with brass. Everything matched up, you know, Pro Taper pads, ODI lock-on grips. I highly recommend these ODI bar end plugs. You don't rip your grips up every time you crash. So back here in the back, I'm still running the tubeless system in here. I will take that out and replace it with tubes just to add a little bit of rigidity to the tire. But I've got the orange Super Sprox on, and I kind of left that on because of the orange accents with the shock. You can see that kind of stuff. It ties in a little bit with the red, and you know, the red on the forks and stuff too. But very aggressive seat cover. This is from Attack Graphics. It's not as sticky as my Moto seat, which I do love my Moto seat. And I had one of those on my 690 as well, but I broke the seat. But anyway, long story short, this is real grippy in a non-sticky sort of way. FMF shorty. So that paired with the FMF gnarly might seem weird because this is more of a track pipe and that's more of a trail pipe. this produces better bottom end power, and the Shorty silencer produces really good throttle response. Plus they sound freaking cool, and so this is the combo that that I like and what I ran before. I knew the guy that owned this bike before, so when he asked me what to get, I said, hey, this is what I run. So cool enough, he was actually buying the parts that I would put on my own bike. So when I got this, it needed a hellacious amount of love, but I had the parts that I wanted on it. It ended up having a Steely flywheel weight in it underneath the ignition cover, which I do have a new one of these coming. You guys can't tell in the video, especially with the dust on it, but it has a little tiny hole in it that I kind of patched and then cleaned up the cover so that it would look good for you guys to see. But I don't know if it's a 9 or an 11 ounce, but it does have a Steely flywheel weight in it. I wasn't gonna leave that on there, but some of my friends recommended that I did, said that they actually kind of need them. And where I ride, maybe it's not a bad idea. A little bit better roll-on power. But yeah, it's everything in here, all this stuff, brand new OEM fuel lines. I put these clear hoses on there, you know, from the other videos. I didn't even have the right spark plug in the damn thing. It was the right length, so there's no damage in there, but the factory plugs in these are BR80 CMs, and they're a shorter top right here, so it'll clear the frame, if you can see the frame rail right there. So you really couldn't get the plug cap on and off. Up in there, I wired in that hour meter, and it has 0.8 hours on it now since I built it. So yeah, guys, hope you like it. I'm super stoked about it. I can't even put it into words how excited I am to ride a two-stroke again. It's just in my blood. I think you'll see in the little bit of ride footage that I have that I ride them better. They steer different than four-strokes. I don't understand the engine braking in four-strokes. She's working really good. I'm excited to get her on the track and do a little bit more fine-tuning to the forks and stuff. The shock seems freaking amazing. I haven't even touched the clicker on that thing yet, just set the sag, so Dan did a great job with that. But anyway, that's my Rockstar Energy 250SX, dedicated to Elijah Reed, my little buddy. Thanks Dean Wilson for the inspiration. I got some more content coming for you guys pretty soon. I'm gonna be fixing up the 690 a little bit. So stay tuned, and I'm gonna do the 350 also. So we're gonna get my bikes fixed up. They're all a year old now. They need some love. Take it easy, guys.